Hi, it's Brian. Welcome to the awards contender. The Golden Globe nominations are just a few weeks away, so I thought it was time to do some early predictions, like who is going to get in at the Golden Globes. I'm very excited to welcome Matt Neglia from Next Best Picture, who is joining me today to talk about all of these really fun categories coming up at the Golden Globe Awards. How are we doing, Matt?
I'm doing great, Brian. Thank you so much for having me on. I've been wanting to come here for a while now, so this is definitely a thrill for me. And hello to all of the subscribers out there.
Yeah, we've known each other for a few years now, and I've always wanted to bring you on the awards contender, Matt. It's a thrill to have you. Talking about the Golden Globes, which, like, we're in the season right now, like, we just got the Gotham Award nominations, but it's still kind of a free-for-all in a way. We don't know exactly how everything is going to shake out come, like, Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, SAG, and all of that. I thought it would be fun to kind of get your ideas today. Like, who do we think is getting into these top film categories? Let's start with Best Actress in a Drama for Motion Picture. I mean, is that category just a bloodbath this year, Matt? Like, Best Actress? Like, trying to find 5 at the Oscars is really tricky right now.
It is really tricky. It's extremely competitive, and, Best Actress, God bless this category. We love this category. There's always an abundance of riches to go through here, and this year is no exception. And not just in the drama category, but also in the comedy musical as well. And so coming up with 5 at the Oscars is pretty difficult, I would say, at this point, especially considering, too, you have contenders that are coming and going, some are rising and falling, and it's really tough to say, at least at this stage, who's going to survive all the way to the end. I can only tell you with some level of certainty 2, maybe 3, but even then I'm like, I don't know.
Right? Yeah, in some ways it's easier to predict the nominees at Golden Globes because with both drama and comedy musical, we have 12 spots,
yes,
right? So it's like we can kind of throw in all our favorites there. It seems likely most of these will get in, but then at the Oscars, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. So at the Globes, in Best Actress Drama, I have on top here getting nominated Angelina Jolie for Maria. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. 100%.
Like, I think she could win. We'll see. I haven't actually seen the movie yet, but I'm excited to, hopefully soon. I hear she's great. And then I have Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. I think she gets nominated for sure.
I think so as well.
Yeah. Now, can Kidman get in at the Oscars is a big question. Like, I really hope it happens, but, like, that's going to be a little trickier. Is there someone else you feel pretty good about getting into actress drama?
Yeah, Saoirse Ronan for The Outrun. I mean, I know that's a smaller film, but she seems likely to land here. With the Oscars, it might be a little bit dicier because, like I said, the size of that movie. And also, I've talked to so many people who are a little iffy on the movie, even if they think she is great. So it's not a slam dunk for her, but I would imagine at Globes, because of how many slots there are, she would likely get in.
Yeah, I have Ronan here in third. I can't imagine her not getting in, at least at the Globes, for The Outrun. It's such an amazing performance. I still think she has a shot at the Oscar, but it's tricky, as you say, like, because the movie's not really going to be competitive in any other category, The Outrun, it is going to be more difficult for her there. I also have Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths.
I do too.
She should get in at the Globes, right?
Yes.
That's another tricky one, like, in terms of, like, can she get in? Like, Critics' Choice, SAG, I feel pretty good about BAFTA for her. But again, with 6 slots here in actress drama, I can't imagine them snubbing that performance. She was incredible in that movie.
I mean, this is the kind of case, too, where not just with her, but with anyone, if you're missing a Golden Globe nomination with this many slots, that should be sounding the alarms for all of your Oscar campaign goals. Because, I mean, to me, I understand that even with 6 slots per category, it still can be a little difficult. But at the same time, it's like, if you couldn't get here, why, So, yeah, Marianne Jean-Baptiste, I think, is such a force in Hard Truths. I would be shocked if she didn't make it. But, you know, it's always really tough whenever you have a competitive category such as this, because as we get down to the bottom of the list here and we name our last two that we have, this is also where I expect, Ryan, we're going to differentiate a little bit here, probably in terms of you have somebody that I don't have, vice versa. You know, this is where things will probably start to get a little complicated.
Yeah. So who is your next choice? Who do you think gets in?
I have Fernanda Torres for I'm Still
I
Here.
do too.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I loved that
God.
movie, and I loved her in it. Yeah.
Yes. I completely agree. I'm hoping that Sony Pictures Classics can mount a strong enough campaign to get her into the race. And one thing I've learned over the years is never to underestimate Sony Pictures Classics. This also applies to Saoirse Ronan with The Outrun, to a certain extent with The Room Next Door as well. But spoiler alert for that last slot, I don't have either lady from The Room Next Door getting in, because I think that the Globes are going to find it a little difficult to decide Julianne or Tilda. So I'm kind of just splitting the difference and saying neither one of them makes it for my last slot, which means you have...
I also have both Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton as alternates. My final choice in actress drama is Pamela Anderson,
Yes!
the
Oh my
last
God.
showgirl.
We are completely aligned here.
Wow.
I have her as well. Mm-hmm.
That's wild that we're
Yep.
6 for 6 on that. That's crazy. I was like, I don't know. Is he going to go for Pamela? And this I decided before, like, she got in at the Gotham Awards. Like,
Same.
I made this choice like 2 days ago. And I was like, I don't know if she can get in anywhere else this season, like at the big televised ceremonies. I think she can make it in at the Globes.
And, you know, considering, too, you know, where her career took her and what this role means for her, and the fact that there's still a lot of people that are skeptical over her performance in this, the movie itself, and, you know, will the distributor be able to get it over the finish line? Like, this would be in and of itself a very sweet victory for her, even if it doesn't go beyond this point towards, like you said, like the Oscars or anything like that. Like, this would still be a really nice moment for her. So I say give her that moment and let it happen. If she were not to get in here, hey, you know what? She got that Gotham nomination the other day, like you said. Maybe there's a Spirit Award nomination in the future too, but I have a very, very hard time seeing her being embraced by the Academy with an Oscar nomination. So I'm happy to take whatever we can get for Pamela Anderson during this time.
Yeah, I feel like the number one alternate here is Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door. She's terrific in that movie. It's kind of crazy.
What about Kate Winslet and Lee? Because I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on that. They love Kate Winslet.
Yeah, I just feel like that movie went nowhere. I mean, she got in for Labor Day. So, like, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I would feel more confident saying her than I would. The Room Next Door ladies are actually my next ones after Kate Winslet. Okay. So
yeah, that would be sad, I think, for Pamela Anderson. Like, if her slot went to Kate Winslet for Lee, I don't even think Kate Winslet would show up to the Globes for that.
Maybe. I don't know. She's very passionate about that project, and she really, really helped usher that thing into reality. So I think she would, out of a sense of pride. But I mean, you know, I kind of agree with you. It's one of those things where there's a part of me that really does want it to go to Pamela Anderson and feels that it could. It really, really could. But we'll see. Maybe one of the Room Next Door ladies really does get in and there is no vote splitting there. Hell, maybe both of them get in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I feel like Swinton would be the one to make it. My other alternate was Florence Pugh for We Live in Time. I thought she was great in that movie. Yeah. I don't know if she gets in anywhere this season, but I thought she gave a good performance.
They're a package deal, Florence and Andrew. If you're going to nominate one, you have to nominate the other, and that's where I think it gets a little complicated.
Yeah, there's a little bit more room in comedy musical. I feel like maybe, like, if that movie was in comedy or musical or something, they could get in, but in drama, it's just going to be really tough for those two. So our early predictions for Golden Globe nominations in actress drama are Angelina Jolie, Maria, Saoirse Ronan, The Outrun, Nicole Kidman, Baby Girl, Marianne Jean-Baptiste, Hard Truths, Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here, and Pamela Anderson, the last showgirl. Moving on to actor drama, we can probably start with Adrian Brody, the Brutalist, right?
We probably can, I would say, because he is number one with a bullet, in my opinion. That is such a, to steal a term from the marketing, monumental performance. And I have him as the front runner in general right now. It'll be very, very tough for me to see anybody else beating him, even though he's a previous winner. I think that what he does here, it's like one of those things where he was rewarded early in his career for The Pianist. He's done such strong work in between then. This almost feels like reaffirmation of, hey, we were right about you all those years ago. You've proven your worth since then. Here's like the real stamp now of how much we adore you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he can win this pretty easily. I don't know if he's going to, like, sweep the entire season just because he did win that Oscar for The Pianist. I feel like if there's one person this season who can overtake him somewhere, it's Ralph Fiennes for Conclave. Do you agree with that?
Oh, see, I think it's Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
Let's talk about that. So you think in second place it's Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Lazy musical biopic. Oh my god, he sings, he plays the instruments, he inhabits Bob Dylan. He is Bob Dylan. Like, it's just one of those things where we've seen this time and time and time again. And, you know, I only allow for a certain level of optimism to creep in for certain categories, not everything. And this is one where I'm being a little pessimistic. Now, granted, I haven't seen the film yet. I might see the film and think he really genuinely is great and the movie's great, and I might change my whole tune. But until then, it just screams your typical awards bait of playing a real-life person, doing all the things you're supposed to do in terms of the commitment to the role. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just find that voters lazily get suckered into that time and time and time again. So having Dune Part 2 also helps. So there's that.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think Chalamet is going to be competitive as well. I have him in third place. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't, like, fully judge it yet, but it seems like very Oscar baity, you know, Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody, the way, like, he almost completely swept that season. Chalamet could win something along the way, as we'll get into, Matt, with actor, comedy, or musical. Like, there are no big heavy hitters in that entire category. It surprises me in a way that A Complete Unknown didn't go comedy musical because Chalamet would have won there easily.
Easily. Absolutely 100% easily. But in this case with drama, you know, it feels like our Best Actor 5 are all right here, essentially. Maybe the season still has some surprises in store for us in terms of precursors elevating somebody, but until I see that happen, it also feels like the Golden Globe 6 is pretty easy. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something else that's like a wrinkle here, but, you know, after the three that we just mentioned, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Daniel Craig for Queer, and then Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice, like, that just feels so cut and dry to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think Coleman Domingo is getting it for Sing Sing. I finally got to see the movie a few days ago. I loved it. He was so great in that. Daniel Craig for Queer. I had some issues with that film, but he was very good in it. I don't know if Craig will get the Oscar nomination at the end of the day. I just think that movie might be too divisive ultimately. But he's definitely getting in at the Globes.
My current theory is this. Depending on what happens in a week from now, either Sebastian Stan's getting in or he isn't. And if he doesn't get in, Craig gets in. If he does get in, well, then Craig doesn't, obviously. That's my current theory. So this is a reminder for everyone to get out there and vote.
Yeah, so here's where we differ. I do not have Sebastian Stan in sixth place here. Maybe you're right. I have Paul Mescal for Gladiator 2.
You know, I understand that, and I could see that happening if the Globes love Gladiator. They've loved Ridley Scott films before in the past, so this does make sense. He is admittedly number 7 for me, but I think Sebastian Stan, after having the year that he's had with A Different Man and The Apprentice, and also just being at a point in his career where awards recognition seems like it's ready for him in general. I think that this makes sense for now. It's just, once again, the big hurdle is, are people going to want to sit and watch a movie where he plays Trump? And I think if, Trump loses the election, that will be easier for people to swallow. If Trump wins the election and everybody is just completely depressed, then they're probably not going to want to watch the film. And if they don't watch the film, he's not going to be in. And so that's the other thing too, is that, with the Globes, because it is a smaller voting body than the Oscars, there's a more likely chance that they likely have seen The Apprentice versus the Academy. So I could even see a world where Stan gets nominated here but doesn't get in at the Oscars,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, playing a real life person, I mean, that could give him, that could get him in over Mescal, who's playing a fictional character. You've seen Gladiator 2, right?
I have.
Did you like Mescal's performance? Is it impressive?
I did. No,
okay.
I did. I think that he is physically, believable. He really, really commits to the stunt work, and he's really great in the action scenes. I just feel like he suffers from inevitable comparisons to Crow, because the movie does also nostalgia bait a little bit and invites those comparisons. And so because of that, I just, Crow had something really special that really elevated that film beyond what it should have been. And what it should have been and what it was positioned as was this summer blockbuster action film that released in May of 2000. Gladiator 2, when you watch it, kind of lives up to that standard of big action spectacle, blockbuster action and bloodshed. And it does, to me, the movie just doesn't have the same heart and emotion that the first film did. And I think largely most of that came from Crow. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'm very excited to see it. We'll see what I think of the Mescal performance. My other 2 alternates were Andrew Garfield for We Live in Time and John David Washington for The Piano Lesson.
You know who my real alternative is? It actually really isn't Mescal, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So there's been a very silent campaign, but believe me when I tell you, it is happening, for Kingsley Benadir from Bob Marley, One Love. I'm not kidding. God,
I heard that the other day. I read that somewhere, and I was like, oh, right, that was February.
They are literally having him and Lashana Lynch give interviews and promote this all over again to SAG voters, to I definitely know Golden Globe voters. So this is something where I'm just saying, don't count it out. I know it was released a long, long time ago, but it's one of those things that I think everyone's forgotten about, or also didn't even really take seriously for a nomination. I don't think it goes all the way to the Oscars once again, but yeah, here and SAG, I would not be surprised if Key shows up. It really would not surprise me, because I was shocked to find out that they were even doing the campaign. And once I saw how they were doing it and the way they were doing it, I was like, oh God, no one's going to see this coming if it hits.
Yeah, I actually just watched that a few nights ago. I'm filling in the gaps of some of the early movies of the year I didn't see. And the movie was okay, but he was good in it. Yeah, I just feel like it was released so early in the year that would be surprising. But if they're doing a campaign, maybe, I could definitely see that being a SAG nominee for him.
Mm-hmm. Same, especially once again, like I said, if queer is too divisive and Mescal is not rising to people's expectation, and if Stan just doesn't happen because of the whole Trump thing, then Benadir is he's right there. He really is right there, and that's just a thing where I'm telling you, people should brace themselves in case if that path does clear.
That would be interesting. Okay, so for Best Actor Drama, we both have Adrian Brody, The Brutalist, Ralph Fiennes, Conclave, Timothée Chalamet, A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing, Daniel Craig, Queer, I have in that sixth place slot Paul Mescal, Gladiator 2, and you have
Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice.
Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. All right, picture drama. We don't have to take too long on this. It's kind of talking about these titles we've been discussing the last few minutes. The Brutalist, for sure.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Conclave.
Yep.
Gladiator 2.
Yes.
Maybe.
I do have it in there. I am toying with it, but I do have it in there at number 6.
And Dune Part 2? Is that getting in at the Globes? Okay.
Yes.
So those are 4. Brutalist, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Dune Part 2. What else do you have in picture drama?
I have Sing Sing and I have Blitz.
Okay. Yeah. Blitz is my alternate. Do you think Blitz can get in there over A Complete Unknown?
See, this is the thing, is that until I see A Complete Unknown, I can't say for certain, and that's why I don't have it at this time. I'm going with the title that I've seen, that I know about, versus the one where I don't even know what the early word is. I don't even know what the buzz is on whether or not if the movie is as good as Chalamet or not as good and he carries the thing. I haven't heard anything yet. So, there are a couple of films that, sometimes that come out where I hear things from people who either have seen it or the studio tells me certain things. But this is a case right now where, I think they're working on this thing literally up until the last possible minute. So it's really, really tough to say.
Yeah. Have you seen Blitz?
I have seen Blitz. Yeah.
What did you think of Blitz?
I thought it was perfectly fine. It does not live up to McQueen's other work for me, which I thought was pretty immaculate. And this is his most commercial film. It's definitely his most broadly appealing film he's made to date. And I think that's why it will work with people. There might be an aversion to it. People might say, I just like these other movies that are more artistically daring more so. What if something like Nickel Boys gets in here? Or what if The Room Next Door makes it in instead, So I'll tell you what's probably not getting in here, though. And I might eat words for this, but I would be kind of shocked if September 5th made it in.
September 5th. Yeah, what is going on with that movie? Is that going to be a player?
There is... When I first saw it, I thought immediately, that's a lone screenplay nominee. That's this movie that gets screenplay and gets nothing else. Then, people saw it at Venice and Telluride, and everybody kept saying, oh, it's a really damn good movie. And I started thinking, okay, well, what, if people are really liking it, maybe, prospects for picture and editing, maybe John Magaro off of the Past Lives residual love, and supporting. But then The Hollywood Reporter and other trades started predicting it really, really hard, winning Best Picture. And it's okay, now this film has a target on its back. And now people are going in all right, show me this movie. Show me how good this is, And they're probably going to walk out of it feeling a little underwhelmed that it's being put up that high in people's predictions, my guess. Paramount also is really preoccupied with Gladiator and its campaign at the moment. So I think this is a case where, over the next couple of weeks, I don't expect the film critics, the precursors, to go for it super hard. But if it is going to start to land anywhere, this would be a place where it could land. Critics' Choice is a place where it could land. We might start seeing it show up at the guilds. But this is going to take time. This is not going to happen right away. And so I'm not ruling it out completely, but at the same time, I have it very, very low here because Globe voting happens pretty early in the season. And I just don't think that September 5th will have built up enough momentum yet to be here. I could be totally wrong about that, obviously. Maybe it will. But judging by the reactions right now from people who saw it at AFI, and especially all these last couple of days now that it has had that target on its back, I'm just not getting the sense of the same level of passion and support that it got when it premiered at like Venice and played at Telluride. Because back then it was like this little underdog movie that no one had heard of. It was on nobody's predictions. The minute you put it up on that pedestal like that, and you have such a low profile that no one's ever even heard of this movie, it just makes everybody all the more skeptical, you know? So, yeah, that's all a very long way of saying I don't have it in.
Yeah, I feel like there could be a surprise in that 6th place slot. Like, you know, I have a complete unknown. You have Blitz. It could be September 5th. It could be Nickel Boys. Like, I'm curious to see how Nickel Boys does this season. Like, is it going
Nickel
to
Boys
get in?
is another one where I thought for sure when I saw it at Telluride, I was like, that is the artistic achievement of the year. That's like the zone of interest. That's going to get the push from the critics, and that's going to translate over to the industry. Like, I had this whole thing mapped out in my head. And then I just started talking to more people who watched the movie, and they're just not that high on it. So I'm wondering if that's going to hold it back. It's going to be interesting to see if the movie is able to ride that wave of critical support and maybe work its way over voters who, because it is unlike anything you've ever seen before. And when you watch something that is unlike anything you've ever seen before, there is an adjustment that your brain has to make while watching it. And I think with Zone of Interest in particular, you know, that was World War II, that was the Holocaust, that was stuff that people were very, very familiar with. This one is more, I would say, like meditative. It's almost 2.5 hours long, and it has like this kind of hypnotic state that it puts you in that people might confuse with being lethargic or boring and dull. But I think it's the exact opposite. I think it's a really miraculous film. So the word is still not out on how the industry or general audiences will respond to it. But I can tell you right now, this is definitely going to be a film critics movie. Like, film critics are going to love this and do their best to push it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. And, I mean, my other two alternates here, I'm Still Here. I think it's a great film. I mean, that got a standing ovation at my screening at Toronto. Like, I don't think it gets in at the Globes in picture, but I don't know if that's just an actress nominee and nothing else. Like, it's a great film, too.
It is a great film, and it is one that also was a favorite of mine when I saw it out of New York. Hey, you know, the Globes surprise us. I have in the past gone with the obvious choices for what I think will land at Globes, and then they always throw in something in there to just kind of ruin the expectation. But, you know, that's why we love the Globes. They surprise us.
Yeah. And Baby Girl. I love Baby Girl. That's never going to happen in picture, but I would love to see it.
It would be awesome. It would be a really, really awesome one.
All right, so for picture drama, we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Dune Part 2, Sing Sing, and then I have A Complete Unknown. Matt has Blitz.
You know what?
I'm going
to take out Gladiator 2 and I'm going to put in Nickel Boys.
Okay, so keep Blitz in, take out Gladiator 2, and put in Nickel Boys. Oh, that would be cool.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. All right, moving on to the comedy musical categories. We have Best Actress. I think Mikey Madison will be nominated. What
yes. There's two things I am very sure of, and that is Mikey Madison and Carla Sofia Gasol are getting in for this category. Like, if nothing else, I am so confident that this is happening.
Yeah, Mikey Madison is my current choice for performance of the year. I thought she was so extraordinary in Anora and is going to be a frontrunner to win a bunch of prizes this season. She's absolutely getting in here, along with Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez. What a great performance that is, too. What an amazing ensemble in that movie. I'm curious to see how Amelia Perez is going to do this season.
Me too. I mean, it has the might of Netflix behind it, so you know it's probably going to get a lot of nominations in the end. Where that goes in terms of the wins by the time we get to the end of the season, you know, that remains to be seen because, you know, with films like The Irishman, Roma, I'm trying to think what else, All Quiet on the Western Front, they can get those nominations and a few wins, but they've struggled to get like above the line, like big wins. You know, Laura Dern winning for Marriage Story remains still to this day, I believe, their only acting win that they've had to date.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Never had any others but Laura Dern, Marriage Story?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm going like through my memory bank right now.
Yeah. Nominations
yeah,
galore, but not wins, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is, it's going to be interesting because Amelia Perez is living and dying by the love of its cast. Like if you like the movie, it's probably because you really like the cast in it.
For sure. So I also have Amy Adams for Night Bitch. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't think that's happening at the Oscars. I would be surprised at this point, but she's definitely getting in at the Globes.
I'll just say this about Amy Adams and Night Bitch. Every mother who watches Night Bitch is going to vote for her.
Yes, absolutely.
The most relatable character that they will see this year, probably.
Yeah. I just think her turning into a dog, there are going to be some voters who are like, no.
I don't think so, because the movie actually, and this is something I consider to be a detriment, like the movie doesn't go full tilt with that into like more darker, weirder territory.
That's what I wanted, yeah.
I did too, but I think that for voters who maybe would have been more turned off by that, this is like a very, very nice, digestible version of that actually makes the film even more accessible. So she is someone who I think we're all underestimating, and I would not be surprised if she made it through in the end, because that is just such a relatable character, and one that, like I said, I don't know how you could be a mother, watch that movie, and not feel compelled to want to vote for her. I don't understand how it's possible.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, she absolutely has a shot at the Oscars. They love her there, but right now I have her in at Golden Globes and probably SAG. I think she gets the SAG nomination. She got a SAG nomination for Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah,
so I think she gets in for Night Bitch there. We'll see. Demi Moore, Matt. Does she get in at the Globes?
Nervous. I am so nervous, but I have her.
Yeah. I think in a field of 6 in comedy musical actress, like I was relieved when they pushed The Substance into comedy musical, because I was like, I don't know, in drama, like that would be a little trickier. I think there's room for her here. I think that performance is just so beloved that even if nothing else were to happen for her the rest of the season, I think she can get in at the Globes. Demi Moore.
I do too. I mean, it was very interesting, to hear before this whole season kind of started, and she got the Gotham nomination the other day. Demi Moore has never been nominated for a single major award ever.
Ghost.
So
she got in for Ghost and at the Globes. That's it.
Oh wait, she did?
Yeah, in comedy musical actress.
She did. I'm sorry. Wow, I completely forgot about that. Yes. Sorry. I was under the impression that she had no nominations of any kind prior to this. So I stand corrected. You're right. I mean, that was so long ago, though, and the Globe voting body is so different at this point. I think she makes it because I think there is genuine buzz and love for The Substance.
Yeah. But that one, you're not feeling like she has a shot at the Oscars, Demi Moore?
I will believe it when I see it.
The last 10 minutes of that movie, I was like, okay, I don't know if this is going to be a big, acting play at the Oscars for these two. I mean, it's just so out there, but I loved it. It's in my top 10 of the year for sure. I love The Substance. Mm-hmm. Cynthia Erivo, Wicked, that's a certainty, right?
Well,
for nomination?
Oh, yeah, forgot. We're talking Globes here. Yes.
Globe,
yes. Yes. I was still in Oscar land when you said that.
No.
Now
Globes.
I'm like, Globes. Exactly. For the Globes, Cynthia Erivo is getting in for Wicked.
Yeah. I got some screenings very recently. I'm hearing some awards buzz for both Erivo and Ariana Grande the last few hours.
A lot of people underestimated this movie, and I have it predicted in the end to actually, believe it or not, be nominated for Best Picture.
Okay, I can see that.
I think Ariana Grande is more of a threat in supporting actress than people want to admit. And Cynthia Erivo, I think, could definitely contend for an actress nomination as well. It's just going to be really, really difficult because we already talked about how tough this category is. With the compared to supporting actress, which is more fluid at the moment, with like maybe only 2 contenders being a certainty. So combine that with the craft nominations, this probably will surely get the $1 billion or so, but it will probably make it to box office. Likely, I don't know. I mean, unless if the movie completely falls on its face critically or financially, which I just don't see happening. I think that Wicked is a film that, you know, there have been certain sections of the internet who have been trying to downplay it and like almost I feel like fight against the possibility of this being a contender, when in reality the whole time I think it kind of always was. But yeah, with that said, I think Globes will be kind to it, and I think Erivo will show up here.
Yeah, for sure. And then who do you have in the 6th place slot for comedy musical actress?
June Squibb for Thelma, because let me tell you something. That PR team is working their asses off to make sure that people do not forget about her. And I gotta commend them so much for that. They really are going for it. They know that this is the ceiling. They know it doesn't go any further than this. But this is June Squibb's first leading role in a feature film. She's in her 90s. They really want this for her. I think that it's a great story for this, you know, wonderful character actress who had this late surge in her career in life, and this would be a very, very nice feel good, you know, nomination.
I would love that. She's fantastic in that movie. That would be cool if that happened.
The movie's one of the best utter delights of the year. So
yeah, she's in my alternates. I have Zendaya for Challengers.
She's my alternate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Challengers. That's also on my top 10 list of the year. I just adore that film. I thought all 3 of the actors in that movie were great. I would love to see it show up like in an acting category at the Globes. I think Zendaya is the best shots for that movie.
I completely agree.
Yeah. My other alternate is Emma Stone for Kinds of Kindness, if they really want to go for Emma Stone again.
I just don't think anybody's thinking about that movie, you know?
Yeah. That was a weird, like, it's, you know, I mean, it's Lanthimos, it's Emma Stone, but it came out in June. It just didn't have the lasting impact they were hoping for, so.
No.
But you never know. It's the Globes. So, our predictions in actress comedy musical, we have Mikey Madison, Honora, Carla Sofia Gascon, Amelia Perez, Amy Adams, Night Bitch, Demi Moore, The Substance, Cynthia Erivo, Wicked, and then at the end, I have Zendaya, Challengers, and you have?
Thelma, June Squibb.
June Squibb, Thelma. Awesome. All right, Best Actor, Comedy or Musical. This is a wild category. There's like nobody in this category I necessarily see getting an Oscar nomination. There's not one. So it's kind of a free-for-all.
This is insane, and I love it. I really, really love, because the Globes have these separate categories, I love when we get situations where they are like forced to dig deep to find contenders for a category. I think it's just awesome. I think that this could be a lot of fun, and we might get some really surprising nominations in this category in particular. I can't wait to see what they do in the end.
Like, it's not even clear to me at all who could win here of the 6 I chose. At the top, I have Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain.
I have Glenn Powell for Hitman.
Okay. You think Glenn Powell could win here for Hitman?
Yes.
Okay. That would be cool. Because I don't think he shows up anywhere else all season. Like, maybe Critics' Choice or something. But he could win here at the Globes.
Yes, that all makes sense, and I think it is possible that he could win here.
Yeah, he was so great in that, and I was so thrilled to see it on the big screen at Sundance. I didn't just watch it at home on Netflix. I got to see it with a big audience. That was really fun. I feel like I haven't heard much about that movie since it dropped on Netflix. It's been quiet, but
It has been, but I know that Netflix has been screening it for various guild members, and they are giving it a campaign. It's a light campaign compared to Piano Lesson, Emilia Perez and stuff, but I know that they've been bringing it around. They're, I told them earlier in the season, like way early, like back when like the year began, that their best hope with it was an adapted screenplay nomination. The writers would very likely go for something like this, I felt like. And so if that happens, both Glenn Powell and Richard Linklater are Oscar nominees, so that would be really cool.
That would be awesome. I would love to see that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Powell would have a better shot at winning this over like Eisenberg, where a film where the real star, in a way, is Kieran Culkin, as we'll get to. Mm-hmm. I have Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Nights. Do you think that could happen?
I have him in here as well.
Okay. I loved him in that. He was so appealing as Lorne Michaels, playing a real person. I would like Saturday Night to get something at the Globes. I don't know if it gets into picture, but I think LaBelle would be a great nominee here.
I think LaBelle would be a fantastic nominee. Obviously for something like The Fabelmans, this couldn't materialize for him. I think with Saturday Night, he's definitely shown that he wasn't just a one-trick pony, and Saturday Night, I would expect, would do well with the Globes, given that they have this separate comedy musical categories. So LaBelle could very easily benefit from that.
Yeah, and he also had Snack Shack earlier this year. He was great in that too. So
that would be great gem of a film that no one saw. Yeah,
I loved it.
I'm glad you saw that. Actually, that was a really surprisingly good film.
Yeah, so that would be cool. I have Sebastian Stan here for A Different Man.
I do. I have him being double nominated.
Double nominated. So that could happen for Stan to get in twice at the Globes. That would be cool.
Hey, Globes have done it plenty of times before.
Yeah, and then, past those four, I'm like, I guess Joaquin Phoenix gets in for Joker?
I think, listen, despite what everyone thinks about that movie, his performance in that, I think, is genuinely better than it is in the first film. And
yeah,
I think if anybody is voting on just sheer merit of performance, they would likely vote for him to get in. The problem is that a lot of people did not like that movie. And right now, a lot of people don't like him because of what happened with the whole Todd Haynes situation. So
right.
I have him at number 6. I'm very iffy on it, and I definitely could see a world where he misses entirely.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way too. I'm just like, well, it's not a nomination too many people would be excited about. Maybe Quentin Tarantino, who just said he really loved it.
Tarantino's got taste.
So I didn't know what to do with my final slot here. I went with Michael Keaton for Beetlejuice. What do you have? It's so hard.
I could see it being Michael. There's this. Oh man. Here's the thing. Here's my thing. I am really starting to get this sense that Hugh Grant might start rising for Heretic.
Ooh.
I can see a world where he just starts kind of popping up randomly at various film critics groups and supporting actor. And I think this is as far as it probably goes in the end. I don't know. This is tough. This is really tough. Because they also nominated Ryan Reynolds for the first Deadpool, right? Deadpool Wolverine was a very, really big film. They might bring him back. Gosling, previous nominee. He's got The Fall Guy. Jesse Plemons, you mentioned before, Kinds of Kindness. He's the Cannes Best Actor winner.
Right.
Man, I'm really tempted to just call it a day and say it's Michael Keaton, but I think to be different from you, I think I'm going to go out on a limb for Hugh Grant.
I love that choice. Hugh Grant in Heretic is fantastic. I have him as an alternate here in supporting actor. So that would be a lead actor nomination, not supporting actor.
Well, have they determined where they're positioning him?
I don't know. That's a good... because you could look at... He's in a lot of the movie, so he could be lead. He's like the star of the film, like the people he's the person we know in that movie. So that makes sense. But I feel like if he has a chance in a way to get in like any other place than Globes, it would be supporting actor, not lead actor.
I think based on what I'm seeing right now, I'm showing that he is only an option to be selected for the comedy musical actor category, not for supporting actor.
Oh, interesting.
And if he's only an option for that, that means that the studio has decided that and placed him there.
Okay, can that change for other like award ceremonies, like critics groups and stuff? They can go supporting?
Totally.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because I mean, I also don't really see that movie as a comedy, but okay. I mean, it's got some levels of like humor, I guess.
Yeah, here and there.
But yeah, I would love to see Heretic like show up here. I mean, there's so many great horror films in 2024. Like, give us some more nominations for those.
I think that's the coolest thing, is that we're dealing with a lot of possibilities where horror films can get recognition, and yeah, I say the more the merrier.
Yeah. Okay, so actor comedy musical. We have Gabriel LaBelle, Saturday Night, Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain, Glenn Powell, Hitman, Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, Foley Adieu, Sebastian Stan, A Different Man. And then in the 6th place slot, I have Michael Keaton, Beetlejuice, and you have Hugh Grant, Heretic?
Yes.
Okay. That's going to be... I will be surprised if either one of us is 6 for 6 on this one.
Oh, yeah. No, I expect them to do something really weird here.
Yeah. Like, just something just totally just off the wall crazy. Like, what? Like, I could see that happening. I do think picture comedy musical is a little bit easier to predict. Obviously, Honora. Obviously, Amelia Perez. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I would say Wicked. I think those three are pretty safe there, outside of a shocker. Right?
I'm going to say those. Yep, I'm with you.
Okay. Now, what else do you have in comedy musical?
I have Saturday Night.
Okay.
I have A Real Pain.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I am flip-flopping. You have Zendaya, right, for challengers getting in for, right? I don't, but I have the film getting in.
Okay. So that's your only nomination for challengers? Is in picture?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, you know what? Actually, give or take, maybe it gets in for score as
well.
Score. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I have most of those, Matt. In 6th place, I am really like going back and forth between Saturday Night and The Substance. Mm-hmm. Could The Substance get into picture? Like, I would love that. I would love to see it. But in some ways, I do think Saturday Night feels a little bit like a safer prediction there. Like that more people might vote for that. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to say The Substance gets in.
Good.
At the Globe.
I say do it. Yes, please. Because honestly, I would be so happy if you're right. Like, nothing would thrill me more than for one of my top 10 favorite films of the year. And a film that, quite frankly, most people would look at it on paper and say this has no business being in the awards conversation. Like, for it to actually contend and be in a position where we might start questioning, oh my God, is The Substance going to be nominated for Best Picture? That's awesome. I'm all here for it. I say let's make it a possibility. I just can't bring myself to predict it because I'm not one for like manifesting stuff. I'm really not. Like, I will always talk about the merit of something being worthy to get in, but when it comes time for my actual predictions, I tend to be more pessimistic and conservative versus what I think will actually, what I want to happen. Yeah, and so I'm gonna go with no for now. But listen, I would love nothing more.
Yeah, that's really my only alternate. I don't see anything else getting in. I think that final slot goes to like challengers or Substance or Saturday Night. Like, I don't think there's like a wild card like comedy musical movie that we didn't even mention that could slip in.
The wild card.
Is there?
Yes, there is one wild card.
Okay.
And it's the Wild Robot.
Oh, could that get in? Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
I think that there is so much passion for that movie. I think people really, really love it. And if enough people think about it when they have their ballot in hand, that passion might, it really could, especially now that animated films are able to compete in comedy musical, not just an animated feature at Golden Globes. I mean, I would not be surprised. I mean, I would be surprised, but I also the passion is real. The passion has to manifest with something. Once again, no, this is not me saying that it's going to happen. I'm not predicting it to happen. Mm-hmm. So I want to be very clear that I'm not manifesting by predicting it, hoping it's going to happen. I'm not hope-dicting, okay? But all I'm saying is, yeah, the passion for that movie is real. I think that a lot of people recognize that, and it doesn't have the genre bias that like Spider-Man had. It doesn't have the what's the word I'm looking for here? It doesn't have the narrative challenges that Boy and the Heron had, where some people were like, I can't really wrap my mind around like what this film is getting at, which, fine. This is a very digestible, broadly appealing movie that I feel could start to build steam in a very, very unexpected way as the season rolls on. But, likely, and what I'm currently predicting right now against that hope is it just gets regulated to animated feature in the end. Maybe we get a score nomination out of it. But, yeah, I mean, I would not underestimate how much people love that movie.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they didn't also have like the animated feature category. I feel like Wild Robot could easily get in there. I mean, Toy Story 2 won Best Picture, Comedy or Musical. I don't know if everybody remembers that won.
If Saturday Night truly has fizzled out and Challengers is just not a thing, which is kind of tough to say because it just got that Gotham nomination recently for Best Feature, so
yeah,
maybe it is a thing. But that leaves an opening for, like you said, The Substance. But then what is the other thing that we know that has genuine love and support like The Substance to get in there? It ain't Night Bitch. It isn't Hitman. It isn't Joker Folia Duh. No. Like, the Wild Robot really does have true, like, legions of fans who love that movie. But this is, like I said, you have to create a scenario where two films fall out of this category,
right?
For that to happen. So I'm not banking on it. I'm not predicting it. I'm gonna just stick with the safe six, or what I consider to be the safe six right now.
Yeah. So in Picture Comedy Musical, we have Anora, Amelia Perez, Wicked, A Real Pain, Challengers. In that final slot, I have The Substance. You have Saturday Night. All right, moving on to the supporting acting categories. Let's talk about Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture. At the top there, I have Zoe Saldana, Amelia Perez, right?
Got her.
Felicity Jones, The Brutalist.
I have her.
Felicity Jones might not win anything, but I feel like she's going to just like coast along with that movie and get into supporting actress everywhere. And she's so great in the second half. I would love to see her get in.
She's only in the second half.
She's not as good in the first half.
She has voiceover in the first half. I mean, she appears in a photograph, I think. I hear you. Yeah. I'm with you. I do think that's a role that doesn't win, but is, a coattail that comes along with the season. She's a former nominee too, so that helps. Yeah, I'm with you so far.
Yeah, those are the only two, like, sure things, I would say. And then there's obviously some other great contenders here. I don't know how The Piano Lesson is going to do this award season. I didn't love it. But I think Danielle Deadwyler can at least get in at the Globes for that, right?
Yes, I do. I have her in. I do suspect that she'll be the constant for that movie throughout the season.
Now, you have seen Blitz. Is Saoirse Ronan going to be a thing for Blitz in supporting actress?
Yes, I would actually say that she is I would actually say she's one of the sure things.
Okay, because, like, I mean, I put out a tweet the other day, like, is she going to get nominated? And it was like, no. I was like, what?
I listen, I understand, because when I saw the performance, I did not have her any longer in the winning position for it. I don't think she does anything in this movie that's like extraordinary or anything like that. So, but I will say though that it is a very broadly appealing role as a mother who's looking for a kid, and she cries a lot. She's a likable person outside of the movie, and is she's a five-time former nominee. So yeah, they're gonna just name check it, I think.
She's soon like the Meryl Streep of just like, was she in a movie? Check.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's missed the last few years for some other stuff that wasn't as well received, but I just feel like she's having a moment right now with the Outrun as well. She's so great in that. Like, I can't imagine her just being snubbed all season long, like for having 2 of those performances.
Yeah.
Now, who do you have? We have 2 slots left. I had like 4 people, for those 2 slots, and I went with someone new this morning. Who's someone else you have here?
So, I am heavily considering dropping someone that we just like mentioned a second ago.
Okay. In real time, he's switching.
Okay, so today, if you said to me today, I am doing the Stan Music Wars of Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande. I have them both in here, but the person who I am like really heavily considering putting in, and bumping someone else out is Margaret Qualley for The Substance.
Really?
Yes.
You would put her into supporting actress at Globes?
At Globes, that's the key phrase right there. Yes, I would. At Globes, I would.
Yeah. No. Okay. So in my final 2 slots, I have Ariana Grande, Wicked, and Selena Gomez.
So we have
Emilia
the same
Perez.
6.
We have the same 6 for supporting actress. I feel like this is the Globes. They like it can be a pop singer. If they're in a movie we all really love and they give a very good performance. I'm hearing Ariana Grande is excellent in Wicked, and she's kind of a scene stealer. I've seen it on stage twice. That's such a great character, such a great role. Yeah. I feel like she's going to do very well in that. I don't right now see Ariana Grande being like a huge supporting actress player all season long, but I feel like at the Globes, that's a thing that could happen. But then, do we also put in Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez? Like, if Isabella Rossellini, Matt, had one more scene in Conclave, I think she would be in here.
Yes. That's been my big hang-up with Isabella, like, all season so far, is I saw Conclave, I thought she was good, I didn't think she had enough material for me to consider her to be great. And unfortunately, with the category becoming more competitive now it's really going to depend upon how much does the Academy like Conclave as a whole, that they would just bring her along,
Yeah.
Which could happen.
Yeah, I mean, she's out there. I see her in interviews all the time. Like, she is out there campaigning for that movie. Like every time I turn on YouTube, there's a new Isabella Rossellini interview clip. I'm like, oh my god, she's in like 3 minutes. It's interesting. She's very good in that one scene, in that like halfway through. I just don't know if it's enough. I'm like, really? Like, for that? Beatrice Straight Network all over again here. One scene gets you in.
Ruby D, American Gangster.
Ruby D, American Gangster. Yeah, she had that one great moment. Sometimes that's all you need, and she's Hollywood royalty. Mom Ingrid Bergman. I mean, there's like certain things there. I'm like, if Conclave gets into picture director, like at the Oscars, and they love it, like maybe. I don't have her in now at the Globes. I've seen Anjanou Ellis Taylor's name mentioned a lot for Nickel Boys. Do you think that's going to be a thing?
It could be. It depends once again on the strength of Nickel Boys. If Nickel Boys is a strong enough movie, she would come along with it. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah. And my other absolute wild alternate would be Jamie Lee Curtis in The Last Showgirl.
Yep, that is wild. That is pretty crazy. I am not willing to do that.
She'd be like in like 10th place or something. But that That was crazy, her performance in that movie. And I'm like, maybe the Globes would just throw that out there just to smack us all across the face.
They love her, so
They love her.
That's something you got to do with Globes is you got to look at like who do they love, you know?
So you're thinking of taking someone out and putting in Margaret Qualley for the substance. You're thinking Ronan to take out?
No.
Or Deadweiler?
I'm actually considering Felicity.
You think Felicity Jones could be snubbed at the Globes for The Brutalist, and her slot goes to Margaret for the substance? That would be wild.
Yeah.
That'd be, I mean, I would love to see Qualley get in. That's one of my favorite performances of the year. I thought she was at Demi Moore's level. I thought she was also fantastic. And I would love to see her get in somewhere. So I wouldn't be crying about it. Okay, so in supporting actress at the Globes, we have Zoe Saldana, Amelia Perez, Selena Gomez, Amelia Perez, Saoirse Ronan, Blitz, Danielle Deadweiler, The Piano Lesson, Ariana Grande, Wicked, and then I have Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, and you have Margaret Qualley, The Substance.
Yes.
Okay, wow. That's a fun category this year. It's not like we have like 5 or 6 just obvious choices for supporting actress. It's more fun, right? Isn't it more fun when there's like a lot of options and we don't really know how things are going to shake out?
Always more fun because it's an opportunity to see me lose my mind.
Yeah. All right, supporting actor, I have at the very top here Guy Pearce, The Brutalist. That's happening, right?
That's happening.
And then the other top contender is probably Denzel Washington, Gladiator 2. I'm hearing he's like a total scene stealer in that.
Yep, he'll get in.
Yeah. And then Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain. I feel like that's a lead role, but I guess that's supporting actor this season.
That's where they're campaigning him. That's where he's going to go.
That's where he's going to go. So yeah, he gets nominated there for sure. And then we have, like I'm not as like confident here. I adored Clarence Macklin's performance in Sing Sing, which I just watched a few days ago. I feel like if you nominate that movie, like you have to nominate Macklin. He's great in that film.
Agreed.
Right? So I feel like that is happening. And then 5th place, sight unseen. I've heard that Edward Norton kind of steals A Complete Unknown, that he's very good in that. Do you think Edward Norton's going to be a thing?
I have him.
You have him. Okay. So are we 5 for 5 so far? We have those 5?
Yep.
Okay. So who is your 6th place slots in supporting actor?
The eldest boy, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice.
6 for 6.
Yeah.
I'm like, if The Apprentice can get something at the Globes, it would be supporting actor for Jeremy Strong. I still haven't seen that movie.
The whole thing with the election, the thing I was saying earlier. Yeah, I don't think it applies to Strong. I think it affects Stan's chances more than it affects his. It definitely affects both because people won't watch the movie, like I was saying before. But for those who do watch the movie, maybe they feel better about voting for Strong than they do for Stan. I'm just spitballing ideas here, but beyond Jeremy Strong, once you go past that, the options do start to then get a little like murky in terms of, well, who would they go with at that point,
Yeah. I think
maybe one of the guys from Anora.
Right. Yeah, Yuri Borisov, is that how you say it? Like, he got in at the Gothams, and I've been, like, chanting, like, Mark Eidelstein. Like, I just loved him in that, but he's very
hilarious.
young. Yeah. He's very young, and I'm like, yeah, maybe they wouldn't go for him necessarily. I feel like the strong alternate is Stanley Tucci for Conclave. You don't think that's a possibility?
Like Isabella Rossellini, I just didn't feel like he had enough to fully stand out, honestly. Like, he's good, he's reliable, he's Stanley Tucci, everybody loves him, but, I just didn't think that he had enough to make him a sure bet.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's in a little bit more of the movie than Rossellini. He has a few scenes to shine, in a way, alongside Ray Fiennes. I've heard he's starting to campaign, or he's been campaigning, like, he's doing things. So, that's a maybe. But yeah, I think our 6 seems pretty set. I don't see that. Maybe, one of those last two, we could get a surprise. But I feel like supporting actor, we're more confident about, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
So. Yeah.
Anyone else you wanted to throw out for supporting actor, or is that basically it?
As like an outside possibility, maybe one of the Challengers boys.
Josh O'Connor. I loved him in that.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see Adam Pearson for A Different Man. I just don't know if I trust the Globes to do that. But yeah, that would be really cool if they were willing to, like we said, they're probably going to put Sebastian Stan in for actor, but that's just because they have so limited options in that category.
Exactly.
But maybe because if they watch A Different Man, maybe they feel compelled. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so for supporting actor, we have Guy Pearce, The Brutalist, Denzel Washington, Gladiator 2, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Clarence Macklin, Sing Sing, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, and Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. All right, 2 categories left. Let's just go through these pretty quickly. Best Director for a Motion Picture, I have Brady Corbett, The Brutalist, right?
Yeah.
He could very likely win, I think. And Sean Baker, Anora. I have Ridley Scott, Gladiator 2.
I did for a bit. I'm
really at the Globes? They nominated him for all the money in the world.
I know.
Okay, so maybe.
All right. Who else do you have? Because I currently don't have him.
Okay, I also have Denis Villeneuve, Dune Part 2.
I do, yep.
Edward Berger, Conclave.
I have him, yeah.
And then my wild card here for the 6th place, I have Coralie Farge, The Substance.
I have her. I do, but I also have Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez.
Oh, okay, yeah, I have him as in the alternate. You have Jacques Audiard instead of Ridley Scott?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I also could see Luca Guadagnino getting in for something like Challengers, maybe. James Mangold, A Complete Unknown. But
depends
director
how strong
could
the
go.
film is.
Yeah, it depends. So in director, we have Brady Corbett, The Brutalist, Sean Baker, Anora, Edward Berger, Conclave, Denis Villeneuve, Dune Part 2, Coralie Farge, The Substance, and then I have Ridley Scott, Gladiator 2. You have Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez.
Correct.
All right, and then real quick, best screenplay. Sean Baker, Anora.
Yes.
Brady Corbett, The Brutalist.
Yes.
Peter Strawn, Conclave.
Yes.
Coralie Farge, The Substance.
Oh, I love that you're doing that.
No?
No.
Okay. Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain.
Yes.
Jacques Audiard, Emilia Perez.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So my alternate. So I have Denis Villeneuve, John Spates, Dune Part 2. Alternate. Maybe.
I don't have him in mind. No.
Okay. And then I would love to see Helena Rain get in for Baby Girl. I don't know if that would happen. So in screenplay, Anora, Brutalist, Conclave, A Real Pain. What are your other 2 in screenplay?
So I am wrestling with this for obvious reasons. I still believe in Sing Sing, and I am going to hold firm to that. I still have Sing Sing at this time. I might change my mind by the time we get a little closer. Depends on if Sing Sing has been able to continue building momentum for itself. Right now, it is starting from a lower place than people would want it to, based on how poorly it did theatrically, and it needs now to do these industry screenings and help get people on board, because right now it's an under the radar film for most voters. It's not a, oh my god, that's like a must-see film that I've been hearing about. No, it like kind of came and went, and A24 has a really, really tough job on their hands of getting that film broadly seen at this point. So I actually have that near the bottom. But fifth place one is Saturday Night.
Oh, okay. Saturday Night. That would make sense.
Yeah. I'm thinking of changing this as well, because Saturday Night is a film that I think will do well with the Globes, but only with the Globes. I don't see it translating over with Academy, and if it does, it would have to be like just a lone screenplay nominee. But beyond that, you know, the only other thing I would consider is, like after that, I would consider The Substance. But at that point, I then need to put The Substance into my best film category, and I'm just not sure I can do that because I already have it in for director, actress, and supporting actress, right? Like, you have it in for 5 categories, is what you're telling me. Like, that's crazy. I love the movie, but damn it, Brian.
Too confident.
You're setting us all up for failure here. The disappointment is coming.
At least give Demi Moore a nomination. Like, just
I think they will.
Globes, I think
at bare minimum they'll do that.
Okay, so in screenplay, we both have Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, A Real Pain. I also have The Substance and maybe Amelia Perez. I don't know. You have Saturday Night and Sing Sing as your other two?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll see what happens with screenplay. This was such a thrill, Matt, to have you on today to talk about our predictions for the Golden Globe nominations. If you can tell our viewers where they can find you online, now would be the time.
You can find me at Next Best Picture on all social media platforms. NextBestPicture.com is the website that I own and operate as the editor-in-chief. If you guys want any award season updates, interviews with talent, reviews in both podcast and written form, head on over to NextBestPicture.com, where we are always looking for the Next Best Picture Oscar winner.
Thanks so much for being here, Matt, and we will see you next time at the Awards Contender.